Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. A very warm welcome to all of you this Monday morning on our weekly webinar. I hope you guys have had a fantastic weekend and last week, and you are prepared to have an absolutely amazing week ahead. So, without the further ado, let me just quickly check who we've got on. Okay, guys, if you can just let me know if you can hear me okay. I can see Miriam, I can see Lilia, I can see Monene, I can see Edita. So you can see quite a few people joining the call. So if you guys just drop in the chat box if you can hear me okay and that all is well. And let me just quickly try and share my screen with you so you can see my slides. Awesome. All right, so today's topic is the Zen of MLM. Okay, so I wanted to share this training with you. I presented this quite a while ago at one of our bigger trainings. So I wanted for you guys to get the value from this as well, wherever you are around the world. Okay, so the Zen of MLM. Well, let's look at network marketing. Network marketing is a $100 billion worldwide enterprise, covering all continents, etc. And it's the size of economy of like New Zealand or Pakistan or Philippines, right? Unfortunately, sometimes network marketing, even though it has a good experience, it has a bad image in the eyes of general public or whatever because of old, some people doing bad stuff, etc. It has a bad image like a general. But it is a 21st century business, so this is the business, and more business people and public figures are actually promoting network marketing. People like Bill Clinton, people like Robert Kiyosaki, people like Warren Buffett, etc. People who are extremely successful and extremely wealthy actually say that network marketing is the business of the 21st century. Over 55 million people are doing this business worldwide. So it is a massive industry. This is not just few people are doing it. So people doing it to make money, people doing this business to belong to something bigger, and also to get the personal development. First of all, we have leadership, where we say it's a volunteer movement, because nobody works for anybody in network marketing. Everybody works for themselves. Number three is changing lives. First of all, changing your own life, but then changing other people's life. One of the biggest things for me when I used to go to work with used to be the mindlessness of the job, where I would work there for 10 hours or for 12 hours, etc. And I'd finish my day at work and I'd go, what did I do today? I sat behind some desk. I opened and closed the gate or whatever. It's just such an, brain damaging activity, where you don't feel that you're contributing to something bigger. Also, network marketing brings something very, very wonderful, which we call residual income or passive income. So this is like a royalty, which is basically an income paid for duplicated effort. So what we mean by that is, imagine Beatles, the band, the song band, right? They released some songs years and years ago, but even today they're still getting paid for those songs. So what it basically means, they did something once, but they get paid forever. This is what we call a passive income. And the only way to get the passive income is in business. Because in a job, there is no way of receiving a passive income. You go to work, you get paid. You don't go to work, you don't get paid. But in business, you can actually build a passive income where you do something once, but you get paid forever. So basically, this is the income that you continue to earn based on the productivity of your initial business building efforts. So for example, even today, 5 years into the business, when people ask me, they say, how much did you earn in your first month? I say, I don't know, because I haven't finished collecting it all yet. And people go, how does that work? Well, I go, the effort that I put in my first month, people that I brought into the business, people that I recruited into the business, they are still active today and they are still selling the products, building the business, etc. Which means at the end of the month, this month, I will still be paid for something that I did 5 years ago on my first month. That's the beauty of this business. If you get it, you will be very excited. So residual income equals freedom because it gives you the time freedom and the financial freedom. Also, if you're thinking about joining a business, you always need to think of a business that has a consumable product of exceptional quality and in great demand. If you have that, then you're in the right business. Now, we know we definitely are in the right business. Now, enduring strength of your network equals to leadership. So when you first get started, all of us are amateurs. Most of us have never done any sales, any business, anything even remotely similar to this before joining this business. So what happens is that we sort of learn as we go along. But as your team starts growing and as your structure starts growing, what you need to understand that the enduring strength of your network, how big it will grow and how strong it will go, will be determined by your leadership. So that's why you need to invest in yourself and learn how to be a good leader, how to communicate with people effectively, how to help them effectively, etc. And residual income equals residual impact. So investing your time and energy and effort into other people. This is what you must understand. In this business, you don't invest your time in business, or you don't invest your time in product, or you don't invest your time in sales. What you invest your time in is people. Because once you train somebody, once you make a copy of yourself, then you just made a massive investment. Okay, so 1 minute networking. Well, one of the things you need to develop is a 1 minute product story. So people don't need 20 reasons to try a product. They just need a 1 or 2 good ones. So what the product is, what you or someone you know have experienced with it, and how much you love it and why. And use a recorder, with a 60-second tape or something, right? And this basically is, you want these 1 minute stories, or what they call an elevator pitch. You can have another 1 minute for your business. What is it that you do? If somebody asks you, what is it that you do? Are you going to waffle for 20 minutes? Or have you got a short 1 minute a spiel that you can give right away, on what do you do and how do you do it, except to get somebody curious and go, you know what, I'd like to learn more about that. So this is really, really important. So 1 minute why, 1 minute business story, don't rush, don't cram, instead be concise and hit the bullseye, right? So be concise. Being concise is really, really important, and it shows the skill. It shows that you understand, because when somebody doesn't understand something, they need many words to explain it. When somebody is very, very, they understand it very well, they can be very concise. They can explain the subject in a couple of words, a couple of sentences. So what is it that you do? What is it like for you? So what did you get out of it, and how are you finding it? And what about it is of the greatest value to you? All right? So what will this business do for you? What is the greatest value in it for you? All right? And 1 minute listening. Remember, there's an 80-20 rule, which basically means you should be listening 80% of the time and talking 20% of the time. So learn how to ask questions and listen, right? Listen to what people have to say. Listen to their experiences. Listen to their needs. 1 minute goals. When you reach the level of success that you're shooting for in your business, what will that look like and feel like for you? What will you have, do, and be? Right? This is really easy. It takes a minute to write your goals, right? It takes a minute to write your goal and go, okay, when I reach this level, this particular level that you're aiming for, this is what it's going to be. I'm going to have this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to be this, etc., etc., etc. 1 minute strategies. What is the next step? What is the single most significant thing you need to start doing to move from this place where you are right now to the next place on the path to your goals? All right, so what is it that you need to do today? Not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, not big vision, etc. But what is it that you need to do today? What's the next step? Write that next step down straight away. Go, okay, this is the next step I need to do today to move or start moving towards my next goal. 1 minute insight. What is the concept, idea, discovery, or suggestion, or theme, or plan, or other element that characterizes the value you've gotten from this trading, for example? Right? So what did you get? One thing that you get, and always try to do that. 1 minute inside. You listen to a training call. What one thing I got from this? You read a book and you go, what one thing I got from this book? You watch a video. You go, what one thing I got from this? Don't just be this zombie-like person who just drifts through life without noticing anything. Try to get the juice out of it. Go, what can I get from this? What can I use from this? It's a really, really good habit to develop. 1 minute insight. What can I get? What can I steal from this training? What can I nick from this, and use it for my team or use it or whatever. All right, really, really important. Okay. Now, some of you might have heard me talking about this, the tortoise and the hare. Now, some of you have heard a story which says basically slow and steady wins the race, right? But guess what? It only happens in the story. In real life, slow and steady kills the business. So what you need to understand that people need to start earning money fast in this business. If they don't make money for a month, for 2, for 3, for 5, for 6, for 7, for 8, they are going to quit the business. They're not going to stick around for another year or two waiting for this money to come, right? So the reality is this: the reason why we need to build the business as fast as possible, provided with the circumstances and the time availability and whatever the person wants to achieve, is because you want them to get some money quick. In this example, we've got 300 pounds, all right, or $300 or whatever you choose, etc. But a substantial amount. It's not great amount. It's not super whatever, but it's the money. Where the person can go, yeah, look, I've already made a couple of hundred from this. This is working, right? It becomes a concrete evidence. So you want them to make a couple of £100 as quick as possible when they first get started in a business, because that will show or prove that the business works. Now, when somebody asks them, says, oh, so how much money did you make? They can go, well, in my first month, I made a couple of hundred, right? This is a proof, right, that it works. Okay, and it builds this what we call escape velocity. So does it matter how fast you do it? Absolutely, because it builds a momentum. So there is a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads to the fortune, right? So this is by Shakespeare, right? But what you must understand, that there has to be a momentum. There has to be a burst of energy for somebody to really, really make it in this business. So most times you have to create this flood. Guess what? Just because you've been in business for 3 months or 6 months or a year, doesn't matter that that's it for you, it's gone. No, you can create a flood. You can create this momentum, this burst of energy right now. Okay, it doesn't matter whether how long you've been in business or whatever. You can create this burst of activity where you're going to go, you know what, this month I'm going to create a burst, or next 90 days I'm going to rock this thing. I'm going to really push on. Okay, so slow and steady wins the race. Only a nice idea, but it doesn't work in business. I can promise you that. If you try to do this slow and steady, you're going to get frustrated. So slow and steady doesn't make any waves. It doesn't create a tide. And if there's no tide, there's no flood. If there's no flood, there's no fortune, right? So you want to create a momentum. You want to create this velocity. You want to create this snowball effect where you start this big thing rolling. So if the group moves slowly towards this escape velocity, it takes a lot of effort to maintain a belief system that you're all going to actually get there, right? Because after some time, people start becoming negative. They go, you know what? I haven't made any money. I haven't made any money. And it's been how many months now, etc. So, if you do it faster, you avoid all of this. You avoid all of this politics, etc., because everybody excited, everybody builds business fast, everybody starts making money within the next couple of months. So this way you don't need to maintain this belief system, which is not easy to do, right? So aim to, within the first 30 to 90 days, within the first 3 months, for a brand new person to hit at least 300 pounds, right? It's not a fortune. However, at least they made some money, real money, right? And do a 90-day blitz or a 90-day sprint, or whatever, right? We call it a 90-day plan, right? Or a 90-day game plan, right? So do a short burst of activity, within a short period of time. So for 90 days, go bananas. talk to everyone, go all out, make major waves, go nuts, kick ass, and take names. So really, really, really focus on building it up, on creating this blast. Okay, so following a recipe doesn't bake a great cake unless you turn on the oven, right? So you can make the best dough in the world, but if you don't turn the oven on, guess what? The cake ain't gonna happen. So same here, just knowing about the business and knowing about the products and knowing about everything is not gonna make your business work unless you turn on the oven, right? So you have to turn up the heat, and the heat is activity. Is going crazy. It's talking to everybody. It's really creating this buzz. Okay. So number one, decide that you're gonna do it. Okay. Number two, go bananas. For a month or for 3 months or for whatever period of time you choose, really go nuts with this thing. Start contacting people on Facebook, on email, on telephone, on the street, everywhere, right? But somebody says, but what if I'm shy, unsure of myself, uneasy about talking about business to other people? What if I'm truly a tortoise? Well, then sponsor a hair, right? So think then, who do I know who could go bananas with me in this business? Who do I know if I brought them into the business, they would absolutely rock this thing, and go and sponsor them, okay? They will help you to go bananas. All right, next thing I wanted to talk about is handling objections. So what you must remember that this business is a numbers game, because it takes many encounters with different people to develop the communication skills of a good networker. Okay, so you need to understand that. So there's 5 steps to mastery. First is survival. When you first start, you're in a survival mode. You don't really know what you're doing, and you're just trying to stay alive here, right? Number 2 is knowledge. When you start building your knowledge and you start learning what this is all about. Number 3 is skill. So this is where you start developing a skill where you can go, you know what? I know how to talk to people. I know how to invite. I know how to present. I know how to find people, etc. Now, skill number 4 is listening. So this is where you learn to actually listen to people and find out, find their hot buttons, find what is they need, in their life, etc., and how you can help them. And then number 5 is what? Wow. Let's look first at the first one. So survival. So survival, it's where you get defensive, where you retreat, you disappear. If somebody challenges you, with an objection, you fight them, or you flight from them. So this is a hardwired human behavior, right? It's not very effective. However, it's that's what most people do when they first get started. Number 2 is knowledge. So this is where you learn how to counter objections with facts. Right, so you become more in control. Still not such great results. However, you're a bit better than fleeing from them or fighting them. So facts are features, and what people want is actually benefits, not features. Right. So every year, millions of drill bits are purchased. Right. But what are all of those drill bits buyers want for are not drill bits. What they want is holes, right? So people who buy drill bits, they don't want drill bits. They want holes, right? So drill bit is a feature, and whole is a benefit. So same way with the business. A lot of people try to sell the feature of the business. They go, look at this wonderful company with a wonderful product and wonderful leaders, etc. But guess what? Nobody wants a wonderful company with a wonderful leader and wonderful product. But what people want is the result of that business. The money, the lifestyle, the travel, etc. So they say you need to sell the sizzle and not the steak. So don't try to sell the company and facts and figures and all of that. Try to sell what the business can give to a person, how it can change their life, how can it change their lifestyle, etc. I hope this is making sense to you guys. Number 3 is skill. So once you move on from there, you're now focusing on benefits. You anticipate objections and handle them before they even come up. Right. So once you get really good with your presentation, what will tend to happen is by the end of the presentation, you go to a person, do you have any questions? And they go, well, not really, because you answered all of the questions in your presentation. So that's really when you know that your skill is developing. And we call what we call a feel, felt, found formula. So basically, to counter any objection, you can use the feel, felt, found. When somebody says, I don't have enough money to do this business, you can go, I know how you feel. I felt exactly the same way when I first started. But what I found is that in this business, we don't need a lot of money to get started. And this is where you earn money, not spend money. Okay, so this is what we call feel, felt, found, where you're basically relating to the person. It gives you better results, but of course, it's still a bit limited. It's a you-based and not them-based approach, because it still talks too much about you and not that much about them. Okay, step number 4 is listening, right? So most people objections are 10% of what they're saying and 90% of what they are feeling, right? So what's changing? You are becoming not simply excited and enthusiastic about your products, company, and profession, but truly confident, right? So the more grounded you feel in your opportunity, the less you feel the need to defend, attack, escape, or out-logic or out-maneuver the person. At the end of the day, to be really honest with you, when you're really confident in your business, actually, if the person is not sure, you're going to say, you know what, probably this is not for you. Whatever, things that you would never say when you first get started, because you're just desperate to get anybody, right? So this is where you get a bit stronger. Okay, and step 5, the one with the question marks, is actually mastery, right? So this is the ultimate secret to handling objections. Handle your own. To get really truly clear on what you're doing and how you feel about what you're doing, and the world will respond differently to you. Okay, so you need to understand, number 1, how are you feeling about this business? What are your concerns about this business? Because the objections that people most constantly give to you as gifts is for your development and ultimate success, are precise expressions of those objections you hold most fiercely yourself. No more, no less. So what I mean by that is that very often the objections you're going to get from people are the objections that you actually have yourself deep down inside of you. In one way or another, you're sort of passing those messages to other people, and that's how they are reacting. So number 1 thing you have to examine is, what are your beliefs in this business? Do you actually believe you can succeed at this thing? Do you actually believe that you can be earning the sort of income that you want to be earning? Do you actually believe that you can be at the top, you can be the leader, you can have thousands of people within your organization, etc.? Do you actually believe it? Really, really, really important, guys. If you don't believe it, it ain't gonna happen. I can promise you that. Because if you don't truly believe it deep down inside of you, deep down inside your mind, guess what? Your subconscious will sabotage you. It will do everything to prevent you from getting there, because you don't believe you can do it. So your brain is going, look, he doesn't believe or she doesn't believe she can do it. So let's do something to make them further away from it, right? So number 1, it all starts with you. When you truly believe in this, guess what? You get a lot less objections. You get a lot less, questions, etc. Because people go, you know what? They are 100% sure what they're doing. There's no reason even to challenge them about this. We also have quest affirmations, right? So what is a quest affirmation? Well, people use affirmations where they go, you're handsome and you're brilliant and you're a millionaire, you floss with amazing regularity and all of that. Well, affirmations are boring, and they are the same all the time, right? Quest affirmations, on the other hand, they bring a different answer every time. So some of the quest affirmations can be like this, right? So questions invite a response, therefore they invite a thought, right? So questions you might want to ask yourself, or quest affirmations, right, are something like, what can I do today to make the world a better place? Or what was the very best thing that happened for me today, or this week, or this month? Or what is the most powerful next step, right? These questions actually trigger your mind to start thinking of ideas, start being grateful, start being happy, and things like that. Questions are really, really, really powerful, instead of using just affirmations. Okay, so your single most important sale. Well, not the literal merchant sale per se. Well, you see, successful sponsors' most critical and most important action is, number 1, selling the benefits of network marketing. Things like tax advantages of home-based business, creating an income-generating asset, creating this passive income, right? So first thing you need to learn how to sell, or how to present, is the benefits of this kind of business. Number 2 is selling yourself. So what you have to offer is the resource you are. So you need to learn how to sell yourself for somebody to join your team. So what is it that you're going to provide them with? What is it that you're going to give them? What is it that why are you better than somebody else? Why would they join your team and not the person, down the road? Okay, so you need to learn how to present yourself in a manner where they'll go, you know what, I want to be in that person's team because they can provide me with a lot of value. Okay. Number three, selling them on them. And this is one of the biggest sales you need to do. Selling them on their worth. Because a lot of people, guess what? They've been beaten up in life so many times, they lost the belief that they can ever succeed in this type of business, okay? Or in life at all, right? So the validity and achievement of their dreams, their ability to do business successfully. So first thing you want to do is go, look, you can do it. You are good enough, you are beautiful enough, you are smart enough, you can do this business. I promise you, you can succeed in this, right? And I will show you how. Okay, you need to affirm that. You need to sell them on them. So your description as a job description as a sponsor is to be the steward of other people's dreams. Okay, the steward of other people's dreams. This is powerful. So to be effective sponsor, you need to believe in the people you are coaching, even when they don't believe in themselves. You need to create a picture in your mind's eye of that person being successful. So when you get a new person started in your team, see it in your, in the future that they are successful, that they are doing whatever they need to do to become successful in this business. Then you need to sell them on that picture. You need to go, look, I can see you with a team of so many people. I can see you succeeding, right? And you need to have red hot enthusiasm, right? And red hot enthusiasm is fine, but the real job of selling others on their own eventual success is often a quieter, less dramatic job. A slow bed of coals, not a firework display. What I mean by that is that it's an ongoing process. It's not just you recruit somebody and you go, oh my gosh, you're going to be so successful, etc. Off you go, bye, 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 bye. It doesn't work like that. You're going to have to support them and guide them and take them by the hand and be patient with them until they develop into a leader. Nobody becomes an overnight success. I always say it takes many nights to become overnight success. Okay, and number four, it's being there for them while they're going through the ups and downs, wins and disappointments of their initial network building efforts. Guess what? The first couple of months are the hardest. This is when they're going to get beat up the most, etc. That's when they're going to have the bad days and the good days, etc. So this is where you want to be there for them, where you want to be a person that they feel okay to approach when the going gets tough, okay? Because it will get tough. Okay, paying for lunch. So why some people get into this company and take off like a speeding bullet whilst I'm moving at a snail's pace, right? Why some people been in for years and others come in and zip past their achievements in a matter of weeks or months? Well, you see, what you need to understand is when people shoot up in a record time, it means one of two things. First thing, it means what goes up must come down. So they're on a roller coaster, and rapid growth without strong underpinning means that they're going to come down. The second is they are creating a huge organizations for real, right? That will indeed last, right? And this is basically where they actually been building a network of people throughout the whole life, and now they're just plugging in the business into the network of their friends, family, etc. They have been building for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, etc., right? So sometimes that will happen, okay? So some say that they got lucky, because they don't see the work that's going on before they join the company. You know, I've seen people who join our business and they go whoosh really, really fast to high positions. But what people don't realize that that person has been building a network of friends and colleagues for the whole of their life. And when they come on board, they're able to plug our company into their achievement, and it looks like magic. But of course, it's not magic. It basically took years and years to develop that, right? Okay, next thing is getting stretched. And I just can't get along with my sponsor or recruit. You know, you hear that sometimes. You know, we work with people that we want to work with. Sort of, sometimes, right? Well, opportunity to work with people who are good for us, but not necessarily fun things to do on Sunday list. Is that something we do? Or the course of true love never did run smooth, right? Like Shakespeare says. Well, what I mean by that is that sometimes you're going to get people that you know are more difficult to work than others, right? So there's few things you can do. Number one is do nothing, right? Or track upline, right? Or downline till you find someone who seems easier to work with, right? So guess what? This way it'll cause attrition, resentment, and downlines with weakening holes in them, right? Number two, they can choose to complain, right? Call the entire upline about it and call the company and request a transfer, right? Hint, in the army, soldiers who request a transfer aren't very popular, right? Number three is work on it. The road less traveled and sometimes quite a stretch. So the opportunity to be the best person you can be, this is the personal development, right? So learning how to communicate with human beings leads to higher purpose. So guess what? Not everybody is like you. And you will find people in business, upline, your leaders, and downline, your people in your team, who will not be like you, who will think in a different way, who will behave in a different way, who will have different beliefs and attitudes, etc. And everybody don't have to be like you. But in order to be a really successful leader, guess what? You need to learn to work with everybody, right? And you need to learn to like everybody, not just people that are nice like you, but everybody, right? Because you need different people within your organization, because different people will provide different value, different resources, different assets, and different trainings, etc., etc., etc. So you need to understand that everybody don't have to be exactly like you, okay? All right, guys, so we're going to wrap our training up here today. I hope you got value from this, so let us just quickly come back to that. Fantastic, guys. So this is it for today. Have a think, what did you get from this? Have a think what one thing you can use today from this training. And you have a fantastic day. You have a great week. And I will see you guys, as always, at the top.